Good morning. Thank you for joining this webinar today and your participation to the market survey on underground hydrogen storage in France. We are glad to share the results with you as combined. We will be two people presenting the presentation today. Florent Lejeté, who is the Strategy and Business Development Director at Storengy SAS, and myself, Olivier Delprat, doing business development, especially on underground hydrogen storage in his team. So we'll present the results in two parts. The first part is dedicated to Storengy offer in terms of UHS, and the second part will focus on the results of the AMI. Then we will have some time to do a Q&A session at the end of our time slot. We foresee a total time of 45 minutes to 1 hour, basically. Okay, so one small comment at this stage. Of course, our intention is to focus on the overall conclusions, and we will not share any confidential data. Yeah. So I will let the floor to Florent now. We will start the presentation of our offer.
Hi everyone, I'm very pleased to be there today. So I would like to start with a few words about Storengy's vision on UHS in France. We believe that in France, all operators could collectively achieve a 1 TWh capacity in 2030 and a 3 TWh capacity in 2035. This ambition is based on market needs and also willingness to have clusters appearing in strategic industrial and hard-to-abate areas. It is also supported by a robust pipeline of projects from the whole operators. During the consultations, Storengy has pushed for this ambition to appear in the new PPA. If we are looking further ahead of us, Storengy itself has identified a development potential of 11 TWh in France by 2050. And in that case, we are talking about Storengy's ambition itself. Now I would like to give you a bit of insight on why we believe UHS is necessary for the energy system. We are talking about storage with a very big size. Today, we have, for example, in France, around 1 TWh of natural gas storage. What we are building in hydrogen is similar in size. Of course, we will not reach this size at the beginning, but the caverns are on the same size. So because of this size and because of the high injection rate and reservoir rate, UHS can absorb or release massive quantity of energy for a prolonged time. That's why we believe that UHS will have a critical role in the deep decarbonization of the energy system. Combined with electrolysis, they can absorb renewable power when in overproduction, or on the contrary, release decarbonized energy while in the underproduction. They can absorb demand fluctuation, but also make sure hydrogen is available at all times for consumers. They are the sole answers to manage stress in the energy system, such an extreme cold event, for example, or geopolitical events. And from an economic perspective, they are necessary to optimize the cost of a decarbonized energy system. To be clear, to achieve the same level of decarbonization of the energy system, when you spend money in hydrogen underground storage, you spend much less money in hydrogen and power networks and in electrolyzers. To put it in a nutshell, UHS are key for security of supply, affordable, renewable, and low-carbon H2 and power, flexibility and resilience of power and gas system, and from what I would say a pure technical standpoint, the respect of our hourly correlation to comply with RFNBO criteria. So now, what is Storengy offer on UHS? The very first purpose of our market survey is to build our market offer. So for now, UHS relies on mature technologies. And at Storengy, we have a solid and historical expertise in underground storage operation for natural gas. We have been in operation in natural gas for decades. Salt cavern has been used for decades as well. We even had some examples of commercial operation in the US, but those last ones are used as strategic reserves with a smaller size, meaning that the operation mode is quite different from what we intend to do. Hydrogen has been used for decades in the industry, so there is no technical barrier to overcome for surface equipment, for example. We simply, if I may say so, need to adapt existing technology to fulfill market needs. And as of today, our offer is built on 3 families of products. First, a peak or seasonal product with a relatively slow injection rate and fast but prolonged withdrawal rate. We believe it is well suited to cover seasonal RFNBO production patterns while covering peak demand. Second, a fast storage, a balanced product between injection and withdrawal to cope with intermittency of RFNBO production. And third, an ultra-fast storage product to enable short-term arbitrage between power and gas. Note that the faster you are, the costlier you are. And technically, we believe that we can even go faster than that. But what is key today for us is to confirm what the market is expecting and what would be the volume, and therefore how we can commit ourselves to take investments. Because once again, the faster we will be, the costlier it will be. So let me have a quick look at the project we're working on. First, GeoH2, which is developed by Geomethane. Geomethane, as I remember, is a 50% subsidiary held by Storengy. So this 60,000 tons of H2 project is located in Manovsk. It will be Storengy's first project in France, and its commissioning date is expected by 2030-2031. It will use 2 salt caverns that are already in brine. So we can be quickly operating. We don't need to leach a new cavern. This project is of strategic interest as it is close from Fos-sur-Mer industrial area and connected to Inframed H2 transport project as well as Barmar, which is, as you know, the pipe between Spain and France. Thus, the storage will be able to serve local area as well as European needs at the same time, as it would be key for south to north H2 exchange. Second project I would like to mention is in Aura, so Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes region. We intend to develop a similar in size project connected as well to Natran H2 network. Where we are today is that we are conducting the primarily studies and commission that could be expected as early as 2033. Third project that I would like to discuss is Storengy. We have requested in 3 exploratory research permits in the Grand Est region around Nancy, Colmar, and Strasbourg. 2 of them are still pending. The objective is to develop a new site. We are not as Storengy in this area. And it will be also located on the north to south H2 transport network. It will be an interesting storage for local industrials and also for Germany because it is close to the frontier, and it will also, as I said, on the corridor, so having the whole European network. Just as a complementary information, we have dedicated business developers on each project. So on GeoH2, you will find Michael Rouvière. On Aura, Olivier Delprat. And on Storengy, you will find Anil. So now I let the floor to Olivier, who will go through the results of the market survey.
Thank you, Florent. So now let's talk about the market survey itself, starting by the process. So as you know, we've launched by mid-November 2024 a non-binding market survey related to H2 underground storage in France, in order to determine the needs of the main players of the market in terms of hydrogen storage. We finalized this questionnaire phase by the end of the year 2024. We've been analyzing the data since then. Today we are doing this webinar we had committed to display basically the main findings we've had on the questionnaire, and we will also today launch a phase of discussions, deeper discussions with the interested H2 market players, basically to establish direct contact and get deeper into their needs as well. Okay, so now, in summary, I will present as a first glance these results to begin with. So here we have the number of responses. We've received 26 responses from 23 market players. These responses cover both 27 H2 projects, H2 production projects, and H2 usage projects, and 4 portfolios of supplier, traders, and shippers. On the map, we have represented the main future hydrogen infrastructure, namely terminals as black stars, the main pipelines as lines on the black lines, and this orange, that's big orange thick line on the eastern part of France, which is the IFEN pipeline, as a continuation of the H2 Med Barmar pipeline coming from the Iberian Peninsula. So this is the main backbone for hydrogen in France. This will be the main backbone. It is supposed to bring hydrogen from Spain, Portugal, and maybe North Africa in the future, cross France, and then bring the hydrogen to the northern part of Europe and Germany in particular. On the map, you also can see as black triangles the main underground hydrogen storages. So Florent has already mentioned our main projects, GeoH2, Extension Aura, and the Storengy. We also have noted here 2 pilot projects that are supporting us in the development of the technology. One in north to Lyon, Ipster, and the other one in Manosque, in the south of France, called Fridge. We have represented on the map, finally, the number of responses obtained in each region. So you can see on the green, the blue-green and the green-blue tags, the number of responses received from traders. So received 3 answers from German traders and 1 answer from a French trader. And then the orange tags are related to number of projects. So we've received 4 projects located in Normandy, southeast, the southwest, sorry, of France, and France in general on one hand, and on the other hand, we received 23 responses for projects in the eastern part of France along the future hydrogen backbone. So as you can see, we have 6 responses in the south region. We have 11 in the Aura region, and we have 6 answers for projects in the Grand Est region. Overall, I think we can say that it gives a first representative view of the UHS market in France, and it really helps us to progress in our development for projects. So then to finalize this summary, let's focus on the profile of the respondents and the main answers they gave us. We can see on the slide that the traders, for example, represent something like 21 terawatt-hours per year of hydrogen commercialized. On the other hand, for projects, so the number of projects splits between H2 production, between 18 and 22 more or less terawatt-hours per year scale projects, and then H2 usage between 12 and 18.5 terawatt-hours per year projects. Sometimes the projects refer to both production and usage on the same site. And to finalize this vision of the project types, so we can say that H2 production represents something like 70% of the respondents, H2 usage 37%, and they also mentioned the possibility to import H2 for 30% of them. The project location is, as we saw on the map, at 85% located in the eastern part of France, the regions Aura, PACA, Grand Est. And the projects are relatively mature. Their commercial operation dates are foreseen for the period 2025-2032 at 70%. And the probability of success, as estimated by the developers, is around 52%, which is relatively good. Then the different respondents also gave us a number of information that would be useful for to understand their needs around the concept of underground hydrogen storage and their needs. So, for example, they answered on what would be their preferred use of UHS. They classified the main technical characteristics in terms of priority. They told us what would be the frequency of use of the UHS. And they also selected what would be the best storage products in their mind. All these characteristics are quite well defined, and I will detail a bit more in the next slide. On the other hand, on UHS capacity and performance, namely the total capacity booked in our sites, in our caverns, or the injection and withdrawal flows, which is now entering really in details, we've received very little answers, so we will need to get into discussions to deepen basically this subject in the next phase. On price and contractual aspects, it's the same, right? But it's all the interest of establishing a direct contact, relations, and building a kind of commercial discussion progressively in the next months and years. So now detailing a bit more these results. So starting by the H2 traders, again representing more or less a portfolio of 21 terawatt-hours per year of hydrogen. The answers we received give us more information on the H2 sourcing. It appears to be quite distributed, and the traders apparently have a very pragmatic approach. They consider that basically they would request the storage of renewable H2 at 60%, low carbon H2 at 40%, but they even consider requesting the storage of H2 from SMR or SMR plus carbon capture and storage at 20% and 60% respectively. Then on H2 quality specification, the quality they would request would apparently be higher than the average. They told us that they would request to store 99.5% purity hydrogen at 40% and 98% purity hydrogen at 20%. On the other hand, for projects, we can notice some differences. So we are talking about a total scale of 22 to 28 terawatt-hours per year. The H2 sourcing would be mainly renewable at 74% and low carbon H2 at 41%, which is interesting. On the other hand, H2 quality specification is relatively balanced. The respondents told us that they would consider storing 99.5% purity hydrogen at 22% and 99% and 98% at 15% of the respondents both. Another interesting aspect on these profiles is that the projects they declared are overall considering continuous operation at 63% of the respondents and intermittency, on daily or weekly, monthly basis at 37 and 30%. So this is an interesting data for the design of our sites indirectly. So we can see on the slide that a significant number of H2 producers and users representing quite a relevant part of the future market are confirming the need for UHS in 2030 onwards. And on the other hand, using the information they give us in terms of scale of project, we can say that the UHS capacity by 2035 could be estimated using a kind of rule of the thumb we experience in gas storage of 10% more or less of the total volume, a capacity of 2.2 to 2.8 terawatt-hours per year of storage capacity in underground sites. Well, now focusing on the client needs for UHS, these slides just presents two charts on two features on which we question the answerers: the preferred use of UHS and the best storage project they would select. So on these slides, the methodology was the respondents had to define each feature by order of priority from 1 to 4 in decreasing. Among a series of features, we were just proposing them. So these features were H2 security of supply, backup maintenance, flexibility, and arbitrage on price. The answer they give us, just totalizing what they rank first or second, is that they mostly fancy security of supply at 85% of the respondents, then flexibility at 73%. And they consider that arbitrage on price and backup for maintenance would be ranked further or just lower at 62 and 58%. So it's an interesting answer on what would be the main interest for the UHS. For the best storage products, so they really prefer fast and ultra-fast storages at 96% and 88%, while the seasonal storage remains far below. So this gives an idea too of the kind of response they would expect from the storages. And now, just to finalize this detailed presentation on the results, always talking about the client needs. The two other important features on which we questioned the respondents were the technical characteristics and the frequency of use. On technical characteristics, using the same kind of analysis, data analysis, the respondents preferred or favored the high withdrawal rate and the flexible use of the UHS, which is the possibility of starting the UHS, stopping the UHS, reverting from injection to withdrawal, etc. Yeah. So basically, these two aspects talk about performance and flexibility. Then on frequency of use, the responses range from daily use with 42% of the respondents to weekly and monthly use at 15 and 12% of the respondents. The seasonal use was not relevant in the responses. Then come a number of aspects on which we, as I already said, we would have to keep discussing with you to understand better your needs. On contract duration, the willingness to book capacity over medium term mainly range between 1 to 3 years for 46% of the respondents to superior to 3 years for 46% of them too. So which shows that the clients would be ready to commit themselves to the service. On the price, we have an equal distribution between companies that do not know what they would expect or don't necessarily want to declare what price they would expect. So they are basically waiting for the discussions to have a kind of negotiation. And 42% of the respondents that answered that they would consider affordable a price inferior or equal to 10% of the price of the molecule, which is basically to give a range of what may be their willingness to pay for the service. On UHS technical features, capacity and performance, there we've received a number of answers that is not sufficient to make any assessment. We'd really need to have these discussions to go further. So summarizing on these aspects too, we can say that the expected level of prices and contracts doesn't question basically the orientations of the developments we are doing. Yeah. And again, and if I go back to the technical characteristics and the frequency of use that were mentioned by the respondents, that the level of UHS required is especially important for short-term flexibility. These would be the detailed conclusions we could give by now. I will now leave the floor to Florent to give us some insights on the conclusions.
Thank you for this presentation, Olivier. Very clear and very interesting. What is striking to see is that this market survey has really confirmed the interest of H2 market players for underground hydrogen storage. It also gives a preliminary view on the projects and trader portfolios, and also their respective UHS needs and price expectations. So the next step for us is to engage with you even more closely and to go even more deeper in the understanding of how you will use our storages. And I really need to insist on why we need that. First, we are at a stage where we are refining our technical conceptions. Our discussions with you will inform the cost of our projects. Second, we need to refine the design and price of our offer. For you, first, because you can move on with your own project with steadier assumptions for storage, and also for our discussions with regulator. And third, it's also very important for us to support our projects when we apply to call for projects, for example, at European level or at France level. So we really hope to meet you in person, and we are really happy to see that you are in the same mindset, as some of you have already signed or contacted us to sign NGS. So that's it for today on this presentation. Now I will open the floor to Q&A sessions. So if you have any questions about today's presentation, you have the opportunity to drop a question in the chat section. Okay, so apparently there's no question, so I think we have been very clear. Thank you very much to all of you for taking the time to answer this survey and for your participation today. We'll see you very soon.
Bye-bye. Thank you.